Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props for today, a couple hard blocks and a soft block will come in handy. And when you're ready, I'll invite you to get started in any comfortable seated position. If for any reason you prefer to get started lying down on the back or in child's pose or something like that, then go for it. And if you're coming with me to a seat, take your time to find whatever feels steady and comfortable for you today. If it feels effortful to hold the spine upright, then maybe add a little extra height for the hips. Start to settle yourself in, let the pelvis settle to the floor, and gently start to lengthen the spine. Find a little softness for the shoulders, the shrug muscles. Let the hands rest wherever they feel the most comfortable. And gently lengthen that back line of the neck. You might even find a slight tuck of the chin in towards the throat. And if it feels okay to close down the eyes, then go for it. Otherwise, steady your gaze. If at any point your chosen shape stops working for you, feel free to find something else. Otherwise, settle into your stillness as you're ready. Start to notice the gentle flow of your breath. You can stay exactly as you are. Or as you feel ready, gently invite your breath to deepen here. And with each inhale breath, finding a sense of space in the body. And with each exhale, a sense of grounding and softening. If at any point during your practice you find yourself losing your connection with your breath, you're always welcome to pause, even exit a pose, and take your time to find that connection, and then you can join back in when you're ready. And if you need a little more time in your seated meditation, you're welcome to stay here as well. Otherwise, any way you like to get there, you can slowly start to transition to a tabletop position. And if you need to take any stretches along the way, then go for it. When you find your tabletop, we'll set up to flow cat-cow. So you can set the hands up underneath the shoulders, the knees roughly underneath the hips. As you inhale, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space and the tailbone, maybe lift the gaze. And as you exhale, press the hands to the floor, gently doming the upper back, chin towards the chest. Inhale, lengthen through the front body. And exhale, lengthen through the back body. And keep going with your breath at your pace. If your body's asking for anything extra, feel free to add on maybe a turning of the head or a snaking of the spine. About 5 more breaths here, so just make sure you feel even on both sides if you chose something asymmetrical to add on. Last 2. Inhale breath to return to center. And then from here, we'll take the hips down towards the heels. Start to reach the arms forward in space as you dip the chest and face down towards the floor. And then take the palms of the hands together, bend the elbows. We'll see how this feels. You might walk the elbows a little closer together, a little further forward. You could also have the elbows on a soft block. If you need to adjust anything in the lower body, go for it. Find your version of the shape. And then breathe in stillness here. as you feel ready, you can re-extend the arms and gently pull yourself back up to a tabletop position. From your tabletop, you can add in any extra padding that you need for the knees. Once again, knees roughly under hips, hands roughly under shoulders. And from here, we'll extend the right leg straight behind, and option to extend the left arm straight out in front as well, or you can work with both hands to the floor. And take a deep inhale and lengthen, and as you exhale, knee and elbow meet under the chest. Inhale to re-extend, and exhale, curl in. 5 more rounds with your breath. When you finish your last round, take an inhale and stretch, and then hand and knee return to the floor. You can give anything a little shake out here, and then when you're ready, we'll set up second side. So left leg reaches back, maybe right arm reaches forward. Deep inhale, and round in as you exhale. Inhale, and exhale. 5 more with your breath, your range of motion. Inhale, lengthen, and hand and knee return to the floor. You can reset the hands, spread the fingers nice and wide, and then step one foot and then the other to the back of the mat. We'll find plank pose, top of a push-up. Hands pressing the floor away, find that stability through the shoulders, and feet pressing the floor away as well. Deep inhale, and stay for the exhale. One more inhale, and gently lower all the way down to the belly. You can set the hands a little wider apart, and you can work from fingertips, or you can work with hands flat. Inhale, breath, start to peel the chest up off the floor any amount, and exhale, soften down. And keep going with your breath. Four more. Last one. Pause with the chest down. You can reset the hands roughly under the shoulders. And press yourself up to a tabletop, and then tuck the toes. We'll lift the knees and send the hips up and back for downward facing dog. You can reset the hands or the feet. Take your time to find something that feels stable in the body, and maybe pedal out the legs a little bit. Maybe shift the hips or the shoulders. Adjust anything you need, and then when you're ready, you can come and find your stillness. Keep the hands actively pressing the floor away, maybe finger pads gripping into the mat. Find that stability through the wrists and through the shoulders. You can bend the knees as much as you need to find that downward slope through the spine. You can let the head hang nice and heavy as well. And breathe here. Awesome. And then from your downward facing dog, as you feel ready, with an inhale, lift the right leg up behind. And with your exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands. Spin the left heel to the floor, left toes pointing towards the left. And then find your balance. When you're ready, cartwheel the arms up, and we'll come and find warrior two. So take your time to adjust your stance however you need. Front foot mostly pointing forward, left foot mostly to the side. Take a moment to stack the shoulders roughly on top of the hips, and then you can reach the arms if that feels okay for the shoulders. Find a little sense of softness here as well. Maybe the gaze is out in front. And find a depth to the front knee that feels appropriate. So if you need to back out, you can do that as well. Finding that sense of steadiness. Breathing here for a few deep breaths. All right, as you're ready, you can slowly extend the front leg towards straight. And then with an inhale, reach forward as far as you can. And then hinge for triangle. So right hand can find the shin, maybe a block or the floor. Left hand can stay near the hip or reach up towards the ceiling. If you need to adjust anything, then go for it. Keep the feet pressing into the floor. Find that length from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Gaze wherever you need to. From your triangle, you can gaze down towards the floor, reach the left arm towards the front of the room, and then turn the chest to the floor, spin the back heel up, and bend the front knee. You can take the right foot just a little bit over towards the right, and we'll set up for a twist here. So left hand down towards the floor, right hand maybe to the right thigh, and start to peel your chest open towards the right. Mindful of the left shoulder. If it's creeping in, then maybe see if you can externally rotate a little bit, give your chest a little more room, and you can always widen your base as well. All right, last inhale here. And with your exhale, you can return the hands to the floor and step yourself back to downward facing dog. You can choose to stay in rest in down dog. You can head straight to child's pose, or come with me for a flow. Inhale, shift forward to plank. And exhale, lower down. 3 cobras, inhale. And exhale. 2 more. When you're ready, inhale, tabletop, and then your choice for child's pose or downward facing dogs for about 8 breaths. And be wherever you need to be. If you're resting in child's pose, you're welcome to stay as long as you need. And whenever you're ready, make your way to downward facing dog. From your down dog, as you're ready, with an inhale, lift the left leg up behind, and then step the left foot forward between the hands. Spin the right heel to the floor, find your balance, and then with an inhale, come on up, and we'll set up Warrior Two for the second side. Adjust anything you need in your stance, and if it feels really wobbly, you might widen your base side to side, maybe left foot to the left a few inches. Arms reaching, a little softness for the shoulders, gaze wherever it needs to be, and a depth to the bend to the front knee that feels appropriate. And then when you're ready, slowly extend the front leg towards straight. Take an inhale, reach forward, and then hinge for triangle. Left hand, shin, block, or floor. Right hand, hip, maybe ceiling. Find the strength in the shape. And this side may feel a little different to the first. If you need to be on a different height setting for your prop, or if you need to adjust your stance, then go for it. With an inhale, reach the top arm towards the front of the room, face down. And then with your exhale, spin the back heel up, lower that right knee. Maybe left foot to the left an inch or two, right hand down to the right. And then set up for your twist, left hand to the left thigh, and start to turn your chest open towards the left. Again, mindful of that bottom shoulder. Make sure it's not pinching, make sure it feels supportive. And breathe here. And gently lowering the hands back down to the floor, coming out of your twist. And then you can step the left foot back, choose to stay in down dog, choose to go to child's pose, or come with me for a flow. Inhale to plank, and then exhale to lower. Untuck the toes, 3 cobras. Last one. And then inhale for tabletop. And child's pose, down dog. Be wherever you need to be. Take about 8 breaths. And from your child's pose, as you're ready, make your way to downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, take a deep inhale through the nose. And deep sigh out the mouth. Twice more. Last one. Inhale, bend the knees deeply. With your exhale, walk the hands back towards the feet. Come to find a forward fold at the back of the mat. Keep as much of a bend to the knees as you need to make this work for the low back. And you can always have the hands to blocks or be in more of a halfway lift if that works better for you. And take a couple deep breaths here and let the head be nice and heavy. And then when you're ready, take the hands to the shins. Inhale for a halfway lift. And then pause here with your exhale. And take 2 deep breaths. And then pressing the feet to the floor, slight bend to the knees. Inhale, come all the way up. You can circle the arms up towards the ceiling. And then if you feel a little lightheaded, you can come partway down again, or you can stay with the arms lifted. And once you feel ready to, you can release the arms down to your sides. And so from the back of the mat, we're going to set up for 3 balance poses, one after the other. If you'd rather be next to a wall for this, then go for it. And you can also do them more staggered so that if you're feeling a little wobbly, you can give yourself a little pause in between to reset. I'm going to say to take a hard block and put it maybe 3/4 the way up the mat. And then standing at the back of the mat, we're going to set up for tree pose. So you can lift and spread those left toes out, ground them down, and then come onto the right tippy toes and then spin the right knee over towards the right. So you can stay here, or you can connect the right foot anywhere along the inside of the left leg. And generally we avoid the knee if there's sensitivity there. Imagine that the left foot is really pressing into the floor, and you might find a slight lift through the chest. And then imagine that the left leg is pressing into the right foot, and you might find a sense of stability in the pelvis. Hands can be in prayer or find whichever expression you like. And breathe here. And sometimes in balance poses, there's a tendency to hold the breath. So see if you can prioritize breathing deeply, even if it means that you need to back out of the shape a little bit. All right, gently hug that right knee into center, and then you can step the right foot about halfway up the mat. We're going to set up for half moon here. If you'd rather come back for triangle, go for it. And when you're ready, you can start to reach down with the right hand, find your block, maybe taking it a little to the right. Now press down through the right foot here. As you slowly lean forward, start to lift the left leg up behind you. And then as you're ready, start to lift that left hip like you're going to stack it over the right. So now left toes are pointing towards the side, and imagine that that foot is stomping the wall behind. Even if it's lower than the hips, that's fine. Just find that strength from the left heel to the crown of the head. And then as you're ready, you might turn the chest as well and maybe lift the gaze, maybe lift the left arm up, and breathe here. Last couple. All right, let's see if we can make it up and come to stand on that right leg. So you can start to bring that left leg down and then forward, letting go of your prop, coming to balance on the right foot just briefly, and then we'll step the left foot down near the top of the mat. Transferring the weight to the left foot now, you can lift the right knee to center. We're going to set up for a figure 4 shape. If this doesn't work for you, then you're welcome to find chair pose instead. Otherwise, we'll cross the right ankle just above the left knee. Hands can come to prayer, and then slowly stick the bum back, start to bend into that front knee, and find a depth here that feels appropriate. Make sure you're still breathing. Last couple of deep breaths here. Maybe the face can soften a little bit. And then as you're ready, press the left foot down. Inhale, come all the way up. And then release. Release the legs, give them a little shake out. Shake out for the arms. If you need to make a little noise, you can do a... And then when you're ready, come and find your stillness in mountain pose. Maybe lift and spread the toes out and lower them down. Feel the sole of each foot press into the floor, the rebound through the spine, and then soften anything you don't need here. As you feel ready, you can wiggle the fingers and the toes, and gently flutter open the eyes, and then turn yourself around. Now facing the new front of the mat, the old back, and you can take your hard block maybe about halfway up, or 3/4. And take a moment to ground down through your feet. You can lift and spread those right toes out and then lower them. Come onto the left tippy toes as you shift the weight to the right, and then spin the left knee towards the left. And stay here, connect the left foot anywhere to the inside of the right leg. And just like the first side, really press that right foot down, find the rebound through the spine, the crown of the head gently lifting, and the right leg pressing into the left foot to find that stability. Hands wherever you like them, and breathe here. As you're ready, bring the left leg into center, and then we'll step the left foot about halfway up the mat. So again, you may come back to triangle here. Otherwise, slowly start to reach forward for that block with the left hand. And then as the weight comes forward, you can start to lift the right leg up behind, eventually lifting the right hip to stack it on top of the left. Doing the same with the shoulders here. Chest nice and open to the side wall. Maybe right arm extends towards the ceiling. And keep the right foot nice and flexed. Imagine that line from the right heel all the way up to the crown of the head. And breathe. Last couple. Thinking about your exit, you can bring the gaze to the floor, start to bend the right knee in towards the chest, press the left foot down to lift yourself all the way back up, and then take a step forward with the right foot and transfer the weight. You might come to chair pose or lift the left knee to center, and then cross the left ankle just above the right knee, maybe flexing the foot a little bit to keep the left knee steady, and then start to bend into the right knee. Maybe hands come to prayer here. Find your version of it. Make sure it's a pain-free expression. Make sure you can still breathe deeply. And start to press in the right foot down to the floor and slowly lift yourself up, and then release everything. Give everything a good shake out that needs it. If you're facing a wall like me, you can turn yourself around and then come and find your mountain pose for a few deep breaths. pigeon pose only when you feel ready to move again. Take a deep inhale breath, circle the arms up towards the ceiling, and then release the hands through center down to your sides as you exhale. And twice more, inhale, fill up, and exhale, release. Once more. And this time we'll fold, inhale, circle the arms, and then exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. As you exhale, plant the palms, and then slowly start to walk the hands towards the top of the mat until you find your downward facing dog. From your down dog, with an inhale, lift the right leg up behind, and then we'll bring the right knee just behind the right wrist, right foot over towards the left to set up for a pigeon pose. If for any reason pigeon pose doesn't work, then feel free to set up, thread the needle on the back. And take your time here. You might shift that left foot a little further back. If the right hip is lifted, then you might choose to ground it. It might help you feel more secure. And find the angles that work for you here. So the right shin can be anywhere from parallel to the top of the mat to almost parallel to the long edge of the mat. And sometimes flexing the foot can help, sometimes pointing the foot. So see what helps help that right knee feel more secure. And then you're welcome to stay upright here. Sometimes it's nice to walk the hands in to help the hips sit a little more. And then when you're ready, you can start to walk the hands forward, maybe dipping the chest, the face down towards the floor. If the floor is a little far away, then feel free to slide a prop wherever you need it. Make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. And if anything feels a little fidgety, maybe you need a little movement before you find your stillness. But eventually quiet down the body. Notice the gentle flow of your breath. If you need a little more time, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, you can slowly press yourself up to a tabletop position, or rather to bring the hands to the floor, and then you can bring that back knee forward. Now, as you're ready, you can release to a tabletop position, and then see what you need from here. It might feel nice to lift the right leg, maybe take a few slow circles in each direction. You can also play with bending and extending the leg. Once you feel ready to, you can release that right knee back to the floor and then tuck the toes, lift the knees, come to your downward facing dog. We'll pause here for about 3 breaths, or if you like, take a flow. Inhale, come forward. Exhale to lower. 1 round of cobra, inhale. And exhale. And tabletop with your inhale. And down dog with your exhale. And from your downward facing dog, with an inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. As you exhale, shift forward, left knee behind the left wrist and left foot over towards the right. The shape for this side may feel quite different, so take your time coming in. And if you need to modify and take a slightly different pose for this side, then go for it. Shifting the right knee back behind you, maybe supporting that left hip with a soft block. Find the angles that help the knee, ankle, hip, low back, everything feel steady. You might walk the hands in a little bit. And when you're ready, you can come into your fold. And listen to your body and modify any way you need. Eventually coming to find your stillness. Only when you feel ready, you can slowly start to lift yourself up. Bring the hands back down, bringing that back knee back in. And as you're ready, you can release to a tabletop position and then see what feels good for this side. Bending, extending, circling. When you're ready, you can lower both knees to the floor, hips towards the heels, come and find child's pose for a couple of breaths. And from your child's pose, slowly walk the hands in and coming up to a kneeling position. We're going to set up for camel pose. Option here is, well, if camel pose doesn't work for you, you could take the hands behind you, puff the chest up, and breathe from here. Otherwise, you can take one of your heart blocks in each hand, bring them somewhere near the feet. And then make sure that the knees feel steady here. If you need to cushion, you could fold the mat in half as well. Start to press the shins down, start to lift the pelvis up any amount, and then check in with your body, see where you need to be. Find just a slight hug of the pubic bone towards the belly button to help you stay steady. And as you lift the chest up, you might want to walk the hands in a little bit closer. You might want to lift the chest up a little bit further, maybe lift the gaze as well. Listen to your body and breathe here for a few deep breaths. If you need to stay a little longer, then go for it. Otherwise, exit the way you came in. So maybe you're walking the blocks back once again, and then slowly lowering the pelvis down. Once you return to the knees, you can pause here. Maybe give the hands a little shake out. You could roll the shoulders a couple times each direction. And when you're ready, you can slide off to one side. Release the legs out in front. Maybe give the knees a little tap to the floor, a little windshield wiper. And then from here, you can elevate the hips a little bit, maybe patting. And keep the left leg extended, but bend the right knee in towards the chest. And you can keep the right foot on this side, or you can take it to the outside of the left leg. Right hand can come behind you, left arm can reach towards the ceiling. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, twist towards the right. You can hook the elbow to the knee any way you like. If you need to adjust something for the back hand, then go for it. Notice if that shoulder is shrugging, see if you can soften a little. And then keep the chest proud here. Breathe deep breaths. Inhale breath to unravel back to center, and then take a counter twist. And then return to midline. Re-extend the right leg, maybe give the legs a little shake out. And when you're ready, we'll bend the left knee in. Keep it here or step it across the right leg. Left hand behind you, right arm reaches up. Deep inhale. And exhale, twist towards the left, arm around the knee any way you like. Adjusting the back hand so that that shoulder can stay soft. Maybe gazing over the left shoulder as well. Breathe here. With an inhale breath, gently unravel yourself back to center, and then take a counter twist over towards the right. And then returning, unraveling the legs, giving the knees a tap, the feet a little windshield wiper. And then you can hop off of your prop and lower down onto the back any way you like to get there. And once you touch down, you can bring the knees in towards the chest. Maybe we take a knee in each hand. You can circle a few times in each direction. You can keep going with this, or if you like, find your happy baby. Reaching for the outside of the feet, maybe pointing the feet up towards the ceiling. If the low back is lifting, maybe slide your soft block or something else there, just so that the low back can feel more grounded. You can choose stillness, straight away, or if you need to windshield wiper a little here, or do anything else, any gentle rock or movement, then go for it. If you'd like a little more time here, you can stay. Otherwise, as you feel ready, you can gently release the feet down to the floor. You might keep the knees bent here, give yourself a gentle windshield wiper to release. And then check in, see if your body's asking for any last quiet shape or movement, and you could set that up. Otherwise, setting yourself up for your rest pose. And for Shavasana today, choose any comfortable symmetrical shape. You can have the legs extended, or if you'd rather have the legs in butterfly. If you'd rather come back to a seated meditation, then go for it. And see if there's any prop or modification that would make your shape feel just a little bit more comfortable. Any gentle movement that helps you settle in. And then eventually find your stillness here. Let the body get heavy as you find your rest. And gently deepen the breath to reawaken the body. And from wherever they are, bring one hand to the heart space and the other hand on top. And deepest inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. Twice more. Last one, biggest one. And then give the feet a little movement for the hands and for the wrists. A rock of the head, maybe a stretch of the arms up overhead. You might collect the knees into the chest one last time, wrapping the arms around the shins, maybe curling the head up towards the knees. And you might roll down to one side, maybe pause there for a few breaths, or you can gently start to rock your way up to a seat. And take your time to transition and eventually come to find any comfortable seated position. Settling the hips, gently lengthening the spine, keeping a little softness for the shoulders. Hands can rest wherever they've landed. And take a scan through the body just to notice. And when you're ready, you can connect the hands in front of the heart. Maybe bow the chin in towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your breath and your practice today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for your yoga practice. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your week.